A funny thing happened on the way to school. So, why are you late this morning? Well, it's a long story. First, some giant ants stole my breakfast. I went to borrow bread from the neighbors next door. That wasn't exactly a good idea. Then on the way to the bus stop, I was attacked by evil ninjas. After vanquishing them, a sea of scary majority got in the way. And then out of nowhere, a massive ape appeared and mistook the school bus for a banana. Oh yeah, 'cause the school bus is yellow, but it's not shaped like a banana. And you can't peel it, so I hopped on my skateboard and then I was seized by some mysterious mole people. Mysterious mole people! Oh no! The mole people. And they took his dog. So is that why you're late? No, I easily escaped. Look at those moles. They look like they're builders with but they have hats for digging. But they don't look very smart, so no wonder he escaped. It's just that right after I suddenly shrank. Then I became gigantic. First, it looks like a fidget toy. So I decided to take 3 colossal steps to school. But on the second step, I returned to my regular size, and I fell into a pond where I had to fight off a strange blob. Oh wow, what's that blob? Once I got the blob off my back, an elephant grabbed me by the trunk. What? They're in an elephant parade. Since the elephant parade was heading in the right direction, I still could have made it to school on time. It's just there was an unfortunate incident with a mouse. Then I ran to a little girl who asked me to help find her grandmother's house. Since I never had breakfast, we stopped for a quick bite along the way. So is that why you were late? No, by then I wasn't far from school at all, but I couldn't help following a boy going in the opposite direction. He was playing a magic pipe, so I took a shortcut, but I must have made a wrong turn because I in an unusually large spiderweb. Luckily, I had my universal gadget belt. I was on my way again when I ran into Bigfoot, who asked me to take his picture. Yet he asked for one too. Finally, out of the woods, I found myself surrounded by a flock of sheep and a team of ducks. It makes sense to help the farmer separate them. Oh look, it's the farmer, and look at all those ducks and sheep. And there's a sheep driving! Or is that a dog? But there's definitely sheep driving over there. Then, because of my champion chess skills, the president called us if I'd help save the planet from an alien invasion. Yay! He saved the world! After that, he let me fly his plane around town. So is that why you were late? Oh no, I actually made it to school on time. But I forgot my backpack, so I went home to get it. Then I used my uncle's time machine to make it back to school on time. But something definitely went wrong. And that is why I was late to school. I see. And how am I supposed to believe this story? Because there's a dinosaur in his bag. And there's a dinosaur right behind her. The cover already tells us what we shouldn't do at school. Is flying a paper airplane inside. Paper airplanes are for the playground. And there's the board. I think 9 plus 3 is they were doing 9 plus 3 is 12 and 2 plus 6 is 8. I can't really see. Anyway, let's start and find out everything we shouldn't do on our first day of school. David Goes to School by David Shannon. I think David Shannon was just writing about himself. Well, I hope not. David's teacher always said, No, David, no yelling, no pushing, no running in the halls. Oh, why did David draw a picture of him running in the halls in his school book? I think that's his handwriting book. That's kind of what my handwriting books look like. But that's not very neat, David. Work on your handwriting and your drawing. David, You're tardy. Wait, what does tardy mean? But he's looking like he. David is probably late. Sit down, David. He's standing in the screen and making a weird face. Yeah, that's the worst thing to do in school. Most of the time, if you do that, you'll miss your playtime. In my school, we miss playtime for doing bad things. Don't chew gum in class. How did he even bring gum into class? And that's a lot of gum. And ew, it's my eyes. Nobody wants to see that, David. Nobody wants to see your big, wide mouth chewing gum right now. You're supposed to be reading a book. I don't know if you can even see the book. I think all you can see is the gum. Ah! Aww. David, raise your hand. David shouted the answer. And this girl, who is clearly the one who's following the rules around here, was putting her hand up. Well, in my class, the problem is not that you don't put your hand up. Is you put your hand up and say, ooh, ooh, ooh. But you're supposed to put your hand up silently. Pay attention! He's not paying attention. Sometimes I experience that. And that cloud in the corner is shaped like a dinosaur. And that cloud is shaped like a face. And it is nice looking at the clouds. But save that for playtime. You're supposed to save that for playtime. But it is a beautiful day. Wait, your turn, David! Oh, David is cutting in line in the lunch hall. Dude, I know you're hungry, but they're hungry too, and pushing in is not fair. I remember that in my class, when people go to lunch, some people cut in line, and other people are just like, can I go behind you? And everyone's like, no. Everyone's like, no, go to the back. I don't care who started it. No, a food fight? Seriously? I don't know who started it, but their clothes are ruined. Their mom is... I'd hate to be the one who have to do David's laundry and his laundry. They're gonna need to go in the bathroom and wash their face. And there's so much food on the floor. And they wasted a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I could have eaten that if you wanted. And they wasted an apple. And they wasted a box. Probably a box of chocolates. And there's a banana on the floor, and there's nuggets on the wall, and there's sauce on the wall, and a tomato on the wall. Why did he have to have a food fight? Food fights are unacceptable. David, recess is over. Oh, he wants to play just a little bit longer. I understand, but you have to go in. You can play once you get home. And is this morning playtime or afternoon playtime? Because if it's morning, he'll just have to wait for like 2 or 1 hours, and then he can play again. If not, he can wait for 3 hours and then he can play again. Shh. Oh, not the library, the school library. Soon my school's gonna get a school library, but David is playing the drums on this book. Libraries are for reading. And the girl, she obviously, I know she's obviously the one who's actually trying to read. I think she's reading a science book, but she's not happy at all. Why do they even have pencils in the library? You don't need pencils in the library, otherwise David will play it on the drums. It doesn't sound good. It probably sounds like yeah, not good at all. Again? He must have drunk too much juice or water. He must have drunk too much juice at lunch. There's one boy in my class who always goes to the toilet so much that the teacher limits him to go only 5 times a day. That's it, mister. You're staying after school. No, not the desk. Don't draw on the desk. There's paper for that. You could draw on the paper and take it home and show your mom and she will love drawing, but not the desk. And I know I said work on your art skills. I think they might have gotten a little bit better with the dog. It's a very good dog, but not on the desk. You could have just taken a piece of A3 paper. A3 paper. A3 paper would have made much better. Instead, you have to go drawing on the desk. I think he's staying after school to scrub it off. That won't be too hard if he uses paper towels and water. David, have you finished? Ooh, that's the first good thing David did today. He didn't just clean up his desks. He cleaned all of the desks. They're so shiny. And the cleaner will be happy because he won't have much to do. The cleaner won't have much to do, and the classmates will come to nice clean desks. This is great. Well done, David. Good job, David. He gets a gold star. In my class, we get dojos. In my school, we get dojos. And then there are some people who get stickers. And some of the stickers are stars. Well done, David. He got a gold star. Yes, David. Go home now. Yay! And the redhead forgives him. She's right there. She wants to play ball with him. And there's a boy. And he's really happy doing a dance. Today, we're reading Pete the Cat, Rocking in My School Shoes. Here comes Pete, strolling down the street, rocking red shoes on his full furry feet. Pete is going to school, and he sings this song.
I'm rocking in my school shoes. I'm rocking in my school shoes. I'm rocking in my school shoes.
I'm rocking in my school shoes. Pete is sitting at his desk when his teacher says, "Come on, Pete, down that hole, to a room with books on every wall." What did he write? Pete the Cat. Just don't write in capitals, write in lowercase. And the bird is there. Where's Pete going? The library. Pete has never been to the library before. Does Pete worry? Goodness, no. He finds his favorite book and sings his song.
I'm reading in my school shoes. I'm reading in my school shoes. I'm reading in my school shoes.
Check out Pete. He's ready to eat in a big noisy room with tables and seats. Where's Pete? The lunchroom. Can be loud and busy in the lunchroom. Does Pete worry? Goodness, no. He sits down with his friends and sings this song.
I'm eating in my school shoes. I'm eating in my school shoes. I'm eating in my school shoes.
I'm eating in my school shoes. Pete and his friends are playing outside on the green grassy field with swings and slides. Where's Pete? There are cats playing football in my playground. There are people playing football like every day. And when I'm going out, I have to dodge the balls. The playground. Kids are running in every direction. Does Pete worry? Goodness, no. He slides and swings and sings his song.
I'm playing in my school shoes. I'm playing in my school shoes. I'm playing in my school shoes.
All day long, Pete sings his song. Is that the day when it's music class? I love it when it's music class.
I'm singing in my school shoes. I'm painting in my school shoes. I'm adding in my school shoes. I'm writing in my school shoes.
When school is done, Pete rides the bus home. Pete's mom asks him, "Did you do at school today?" And Pete says,
I was rocking in my school shoes. I was rocking in my school shoes. I was rocking in my school shoes. I was rocking in my school shoes.
I was rocking in my school shoes. I was rocking in my school shoes. And I'll do it again tomorrow, 'cause it's all good. Too much glue. Our art teacher says too much glue never dries. She reminds us glue raindrops, not puddles. And she warns me, Matty, too much glue. So during art class, I find the fullest bottles of glue. I tip them over and squeeze. Plop! Glue squishes from the orange tips and slops all over. Sequins and googly eyes float around in a gluey lake. Then it's time for the most important decoration. Geronimo! I belly fill up onto the table, letting the glue and everything else cover me. Time to go on the drying rack, I announced, but when I put my table, I boing right back down. Too much glue, Matty! Too much glue! This is bad. It does only happen now till the end of school, and all I can do is lift my hands. All I can do is lift my head, wave my hands, and wiggle my feet. The rest of me is a blocky, stucky mess. Can someone help me? I call. While my teacher breathes into a paper bag. Noah shouts, "Let's lasso him!" Izzy, Noah, and Owen get to work. Soon I'm roped from all sides like a rodeo pony. But when they try to pull me out, snap, the lassos break. leaving colorful octopus tentacles everywhere. The glue's not stronger. The glue is too strong, and I'm a clingy, stringy, blocky, sticky mess. Don't worry, Maddie. We know what to do, shout Luke and Grace from across the room. Is that a tow truck? I asked as they wheeled the contraption over and stick a plastic hook in my suit of glue. My friends pull one way, and the glue pulls the other. Creak, click, creak, click, until kaboom! The tow truck explodes, and plastic bricks rain all over. Now I'm a clicky, bricky, clingy, stringy, blocky, sticky mess. Oh no, almost burst in and checked my temperature. 98.6. Sorry, no fever. I can't send you home early. She dabs and pats me like some spilled juice. But the more she bloats, the more the glue spreads. Soon I'm a melted, mummy, clicky, bricky, clingy, stringy, blocky, stucky mess. Then the principal comes in. He takes one look at me, sticks a note on my belly, and leaves. Seeing my teacher huffing and puffing like a train gives me a great idea. I whisper to Haley and Owen. The final bell rings, and everybody freezes, except Haley and Owen. It's the biggest one we could make, they shout, fiercely flapping a huge paper fan at me. Then, just as I'm thinking I'll be a nut on my tummy, melted mummy, clicky, clingy, stringy, blocky, stucky glue boy for the rest of my life. My plan works. Something my teacher said could never happen happens. The glue dried, but I'm still stuck, and I hear footsteps. The door starts to open. My father and some other carpool parents. Dad comes closer and inspects me. Then he peels me off the table, glue, yarn, bricks on the wall. He spins me around. Nobody makes a sound. Then Dad smiles. Matty, you're a masterpiece! He holds me up for everyone to admire. My friends all cheer. A trail of stuff, eyes and bricks and yarn and paper. I'm speechless when Dad brings me into the house, but he knows just what to do. Well, some beautiful things happen only once, and this is one of those things. He gently grips the dry glue in front of my collar and peels me open like a ripe banana. Now it's Dad's turn to glue, and he seals up the side of the me-shaped work of art. I bet it would take all the glue in the art room to make a U-shaped work of art, Dad. Dad laughs. He glues a big magnet to the Macomber project and hangs it on the fridge. During dinner, we sneak peek at my masterpiece, and after dinner, we take the principal's note very seriously. Please encourage Matty to use tape instead of glue. Ooh, bungee jumping with tape. I wish I could do that. And the name of the principal is Elma G. Stuckey. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe for more books, scratch, and stories. I didn't do my homework because... Oh, excuses. So, why didn't you do your homework? I didn't do my homework because an airplane full of monkeys landed in the yard. Wow! The monkeys taking over. A rebellious robot destroyed the house. Where did they sleep then? Maybe in a hotel? And he's trying to get his homework back. Elves took all my pencils. The dog's trying to sleep, but he's not. He's giving them the side eye. The side eye. He doesn't have his pencils because the elves hid them everywhere. I was abducted by a UFO. Just when I started to do my homework, we were attacked by Vikings. At school, we're learning about Vikings. Oh no. And there's a Viking sword. What if his homework is about Vikings? He can just bring the Viking sword. Giant lizards invaded my neighborhood. What? Giant lizards? There aren't all giant lizards. Is a tortoise? Does a tortoise count as a lizard? It probably does. It's probably a lizard without a shell. And the lizard's eating the homework. Some cough medicine that my doctor prescribed to me had a strange effect on me. A strange effect? He turned into a giant elephant! And the dog's sitting on his back. A giant elephant. And he's trying to write with his trunk. I had to help my uncle build a high-tech do my homework for me machine. But when we finally finished, it didn't work. It didn't even work. Oh, it just makes folding. My dog was swallowed up by another dog. What? That dog looks evil. Evil. So I spent the afternoon at the vet. I was at my cat's funeral. The cat isn't even dead. Even though the dog's wearing a bow tie. Some escaped convicts from the local jail hid in my bedroom and wouldn't come out. What? My uncle was challenged to a duel by a neighbor. My grandpa and his band were making too much noise and I couldn't concentrate. We ran out of firewood, so I sacrificed my workbooks to stay warm. What if it's not snowing? We found a lost penguin, so we took him to the North Pole. But penguins live in the South Pole. Exactly. When they realized our mistake, we had to come back and take him to the other pole. My brother and I were kidnapped by a circus too. Oh, and look, the dog's wearing a wig and riding a unicycle. My family discovered oil in the backyard. They discovered oil in the backyard? Oh, wow. That's a lot of oil. I gave my pencils to Robin Hood. Oh, wow. He could use them as bow and arrows? A famous director asked to use my bedroom to shoot his new movie. Oh, some strange birds made a nest on our roof. Those aren't strange birds. Those are pterodactyls. Giant pterodactyls. We had a problem with our carnivorous plants. Oh no, they're eating the heads off of everyone. Our roof suddenly disappeared. The dog! He's behind it! How could you? He used a wrecking ball. A wrecking ball! The neighbors asked if we could help them look for their armadillos. But they're armadillos. Can you see them? There are two on the chandelier, one hiding on the plant and two hiding in that cupboard. My sister's rabbit chewed up all the pencils and workbooks. That's the most believable story yet. My brother had this little problem again. Oh no, he's a werewolf! Ah! A tornado swept up all of my books. If it swept up all the books, how did he survive? So why don't you believe me? 'Cause I've read the same book. Oh, the teacher read the book. She read the book that she is in. And now he has to write, giant lizards never invaded my neighborhood a bajillion times. Oh no. Today we're reading On Account of the Gum. Chewing gum in bed, blowing bubbles, and she goes to bed. The gum falls out of her mouth. Then she wakes up and yawns. But can you see the pink in her hair? That's gum. Now she's patting her head. Does she feel something there? And even the cat's got some gum in its tail. That's the gum right there that you got in your hair. On account of the gum that you got in your hair, your dad said sit and your sister said duck. And he sat very still. Still, the scissors got stuck in the gum that you got in your hair. What? Scissors in The scissors are in your hand now. Are in the hand now. This is not looking good. Okay, we went on some websites and all of them swear if you want to get scissors and gum out of hair, you get sticks of butter and smear them along and I see it appears that those websites were wrong. Don't give me that look. She has butter in her hair now. Your aunt said she knew how to get the gum out from a tip in the book she was reading about. The paper or something. She couldn't say where. The point is that's why you have grass in your... Now there's grass everywhere. Your grandpa, who said that your aunt wasn't mistaken, is mostly to blame for the noodles and bacon. It's all in this bacony, noodly mouth with the scissor gum, hair, sticks of butter, and grass. No, this is not going well. Because of the grass that you got in your hair, I assumed that your rabbit could help us in there. But your rabbit just sat like it thinks it's a hat. So I thought it'll leave if I bring in the cat. I'm prepared to admit I was wrong about that. Oh, I know how to do it. It's a little bit mean, but the cat always gets really scared when I clean. Just watch, she'll hide. She'll run and hide off under the bed with the vacuum cuts anywhere close to your head. Wait, no. I'm thinking of the old cat. Your aunt just came back and she has a new take. It's cake. She thinks she can fix things with cake. Don't worry, we stopped her and shut her the door. I doubt she'll be coming around on you. The cake that she made you wound up on the floor. No! That reminds me. Happy birthday. That is not a happy birthday. No, this is all happening on her birthday. This must be the worst day of her life. And there's the cake. And it was a unicorn cake. Alright, let's get serious. This is the plan. We'll blow the gum out with a powerful fan. Plus every few seconds we'll pop a balloon. And the guy with the bees says he's bring them here soon. Why is there a guy with bees? I don't understand. Why would you bring a guy with bees in this situation? And oh, I hear sirens. The firemen came. They complained when we called, but they came just the same. With their hoses and one of those dogs in a cup and a big bowl of chili, they're ready to stop! Get out! Please. And now they're walking away. The bees are buzzing. And then the gum jumps out of her hair. What? Jeez. Rude. And now the gum walks away. So that's the solution. Well, what do you know? Too bad about the rest of it, though. The rest of the stuff that's still stuck in your hair. Whoops. Now your aunt is all stuck up in there. How did that happen? Anyway, you better get to school. Cool? It's a school day? How could she go to school like that? Because otherwise you're going to miss picture day. It's even worse. She can't just forget about that day forever because she'll have a picture of it.
Hey, the crayons quiz. What? Crayons quitting? They can't be quitting. The crayons in our drawer are quitting. No! One day, in class, Duncan went out to take out his crayons and a stack of letters with his name on them. It's me, Red Crayon. We need to talk. You make me work harder than any other of your other crayons. All year long I worries about coming fire engines, apples, strawberries, and everything else that's red. And work on holidays. I have to color on the Santa and the Christmas and all the hearts and Valentine's Day. I need a rest. Your overworked friend, Red Crayon. Dear Duncan, alright, listen. I know I'm your favorite crayon from grapes, dragons, wizards, hats, but it makes me crazy that so much of my gorgeous color goes outside the lines. If you don't start coloring inside the line soon, I'm going to completely lose it. Your very neat friend, Purple Crayon. Dear Duncan, I'm tired of being called light brown or dark tan. I'm neither. I am beige, and I'm brown. I'm also tired of being placed to Mr. Brown Crayon. It's not fair that brown gets all the pears, ponies, and puppies. Well, the only thing I get are turkey dinners, if I'm lucky, and weeds. And let's be honest, when was the last time saw a kid excited about coloring weeds? Your beige friend, Beige Crayon. Duncan, Gray Crayon here. You're killing me. I know you love elephants, and I know that the elephants are gray, but that's a lot of color all by myself. And don't even get me started on your rhinos, hippos, and humpback whales. You know how tired I am after coloring one of those things. Such big animals. Baby penguins are gray, you know. So are rocks, pebbles. How about that? One of those in the wild to give me a break. A very tired friend, Gray Crayon. Dear Duncan, you color with me, but why? Most of the time, I'm the same color as the page you are using me on. What? I didn't have a black outline. You wouldn't even know it was there. Not even in the rainbow. I'm only used to color snow and fill in the empty space between other things. And it leaves me feeling, well, empty. You need to talk. Your empty friend, White Crayon. Hi, Duncan. I hate being used to draw the outline of things that are colored in my other colors. All think that they're brighter than me. Technically, every color is brighter than black. Not fair when you use me to draw a nice beach ball and fill the ball with all the other crayons. How about a black beach ball sometime? Is that too much to ask? Your friend, Black Crayon. That's a little bit dull, though. Dear Duncan, as Green Crayon, I'm writing for only two things. One, to say I like my work. Loads of crocodiles, trees, dinosaurs, and frogs. I have no problems, and there's to congratulate you. You will never be successful coloring green career so far. The second reason I write for my friends Yellow Crayon and Orange Crayon, who no longer speaking to each other. Both crayons feel that they should be the color of the sun. Please settle this soon because they're driving the rest of us crazy. They're happy friends. Green Crayon. Yellow Crayon here. I need you to tell Orange Crayon that I am the color of sun. I would tell him, but we are no longer speaking. And you can prove the color of the sun. And you can prove I'm the color of the sun too. Last Tuesday, you used me to color the sun on your Happy Farm coloring page, in case you've forgotten. It's on page 1. You can't miss me. I'm shining on brightly on a field of yellow corn. Your pal and true color of sun, Yellow Crayon. Dear Duncan, I see Yellow Crayon already talked to you. The big whiner. Anyway, could you please tell Mr. Chowtail that he is not the color of the sun? I would, but we are no longer speaking. We both know that I am clearly the color of the sun because on Thursday you used me to color the sun. I love the Monkey Island pages in your Day at the Zoo coloring book. Orange, you glad I'm here? Ha! Your pal and the real color of the sun. Orange crayon. These crayons are so whiny. Dear Duncan, it has been great being your favorite color for the first year. And the year before, and the year before that! I really enjoyed all the oceans, lakes, rivers, raindrops, rain clouds, and clear skies. But the bad news is that I'm so short and stubby, I can't even see over the crayon box anymore. I need a break, your very stubby friend. Crayon. Duncan. Okay, listen here, kid. You have not used me once in the past year. It's because you think I'm a girl's color, isn't it? Speaking of which, please tell your little sister that I say thank you for using me the color in her Little Princess coloring book. I think that she did fabulous. You did a fabulous job staying inside the lines. Now back to us. Could you please use me sometime to color the occasional pink dinosaur or monster or cowboy? Goodness knows they could use a splash of color. Your unused friend, Pink Crayon. Hey Duncan, it's me, Peach Crayon. Why did you peel off my paper wrapping? Now I'm naked! I'm too embarrassed to leave the crayon box. I don't even have any underwear. How would you like to go to school naked? I need some clothes. Help! Your naked friend, Peach Crayon! Peach Crayon is naked. Oh no. Duncan showed his teacher his new picture. He gave him an A for coloring and an A plus for creativity.
Hello! Today we're gonna read the New York Times #1 bestseller, The Kissing Hand. Chester Raccoon stood at the end of the forest and cried, I don't want to go to school. I want to stay home with you. I want to play with my friends and play with my toys and read my books and swing my swing. Please may I stay home with you? Mrs. Raccoon took Chester by the hand and nuzzled him on the ear. Sometimes we all have to do things we don't want to do, she told him gently, even if they seem strange and scary at first. But you will love school once you start. You'll make new friends and play with new toys, read new books, and swing on new swings. Besides, I know a wonderful secret that will make your nights at school seem more and cozier to your days at home. The wiped his wasted tears and looked into it. Secret? What kind of secret? A very old secret. I learned it from my mother, and she learned it from hers. It's called the kissing hand. The kissing hand? Asked Chester. What's that? I'll show you. Mrs. Raccoon took Chester's left hand, spread over his tiny fingers into a fan. Leaning forward, she kissed Chester right in the middle of his palm. Chester felt his mother's kiss rush from his hand up his arm and into his heart. Even his silky black mask tingled with a special warmth. Mrs. Raccoon smiled. Now, told Chester, he'll know me and just need a little loving from him. Just press your hand to your cheek and think, Mummy loves you, Mummy loves you. That very kiss will jump to your face and fill you with toasty warm thoughts. She took Chester's hand and carefully wrapped his fingers around the kiss. Now do be careful not to lose it. Do not worry, when you open your hand and wash your food, I promise the kiss will stick. Chester loved this kissing hand. Now he knew his mother loved go. And anywhere he went, even to school. That night, Chester stood in front of his school and looked thoughtful. Then he turned to his mother and grinned. Give me your hand. she told her. Chester took his mother's hand in his own and unfolding a large familiar finger into her fan. Next, he leaned forward and kissed the center of her hand. Now you have a kissing hand too, he told her, and with a gentle goodbye and I love you, Chester turned and danced away. Miss Raccoon watched Chester scamper along a tree limb and enter school, and the hoot owl rang in the new school year. She pressed her left hand to her cheek and smiled. The warmth of Chester's kiss filled her heart with special words. Chester loves you, it sang. Chester loves you, it sang. Chester loves you. And look, that's the Woodland School. Dr. Nicholas is ridiculous. My name is AJ, and I hate tests. Tests are no fun at all. If you ask me, we should take all the tests in the world and throw them into a giant garbage can. A giant garbage can? Nobody has that. No, I take that back. If you ask me, we should throw all the tests into a giant paper shredder. Shredding paper is cool. Sometimes my dad let me shred papers from home. I wish I could shred stuff all day long. Especially tests. Shredding everything. Everything is being shredded. At school, the other day, we were minding our own business when our teacher, Mr. Granite, said the most horrible thing in the history of the world. Clear off your desks. It's time for a test.
No!
Shouted Michael, who never ties his shoes. I didn't study for a test, shouted Ryan, who will eat stuff, even stuff that isn't food. That's not fair, said Alexia, this girl who rides a skateboard all the time. You didn't tell us we were going to have a test, shouted Neil, who we called a nude kid even though he wears clothes. Everybody was freaking out. It was just like we heard the meteor was about to destroy the Earth. Hey, if that happened, we wouldn't need to take any more tests. Well, almost everyone. I love tests, said Andrea Young, the most annoying kid with curly brown hair. The only tests I like are big maths. I just don't like doing it on the computer. It just shows the wrong thing. But at least you don't have to mark your own work. Me too, said her crybaby friend Emily, who agrees with everything Andrea says. Tests are fun! Those two probably study for tests when they could be watching TV or playing video games. What is the problem? I only study for tests on one day of every week. Relax, said Mr. Granny. Every student in the state is taking this test today. You don't have to study for it. The Board of Education just wants to find out how much you know. I'm bored of education. The Board of Education. I'm bored of education. Board of Education. Mr. Granite walks around the room and puts a sheet of paper in each of our desks, face down. Do you have a number 2 pencil? You started giggling because Mr. Granite says number 2. Everyone knows what number 2 means. And it doesn't have anything to do with pencils. Number 2 is poo-poo. They should really use a different number for pencils so the kids wouldn't confuse them with the other number 2. And also, don't use the number 1 either, because it means pee-pee. Take your time, Mr. Granite tells us. These are questions every American should be able to answer. In fact, many of these questions are given to people who want to become citizens of our countries. What if I don't know the answers? Don't worry, AJ, said Mr. Granite. The test will be a piece of cake. It didn't look like a piece of cake to me. It looked like a piece of paper. What did cake have to do with taking a test anyway? Hey, maybe we're going to get cake after we finish the test. And I say go. Turn over your test sheet, said Mr. Granite. Ready, set, go! I turned over my test sheet and looked at the question. There were 14 of them. The top line said we had to fill in the blanks. I grabbed my pencil. Who is the first president? Well, that was easy. I wrote down the answer. Abraham Lincoln. Next. Actually, it was George Washington. I'm not even an American. I'm British, just to be clear. But I just love history. History about the whole world. What is the 4th of July? Any dumb head knows that. I figured that to be a trick question like, what color is the White House? I wrote down the answer. It's the 4th day in July. Hey, this test wasn't going to be so hard after all. When was the Declaration of Independence? I had to think about this one for a minute. I saw my mom sign contracts and stuff at home. I wrote at the bottom. At the bottom? Of course. He means where? I don't know. Probably in a government or something. Can you name 13 original colonies? That was simple. I wrote, yes, I can. When tests say that, you're supposed to name 13 original colonies. What are the 3 branches of our government? I wasn't sure about this one. Mr. Grant had once told us about 3 somethings. I remembered them, so I wrote them down. The Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria. I don't know what that is, but I know it's wrong. Where does freedom of speech come from? Any dumbhead wrote that. I wrote your mouth. He's gonna fail. He's already failing, and we're only halfway through the test. Come on, AJ. Name one benefit of being a citizen in the United States. There are a lot of good things about our country, but there was only room for one answer, so I wrote candy. Any place has candy. Britain has candy. Everywhere has candy. Everywhere in the whole entire world has candy. Where there's people, there's candy. Who did we fight in the Revolutionary War? I have no idea who we fought in the Revolutionary War. England. I know history. I know the answer is England. AJ, it's England. I looked around to see a copy the answer from someone else. The Miss Know-it-all was sitting in front of me, and she knows everything. No one knows everything. She just knows a lot of things like me. I don't know everything, but I know a lot of things. Who did we fight in the Revolutionary War? I'm not telling, Andrew whispered back. That would be cheating, Arlo. She calls me by my real name because she knows I don't like it. I leaned over to Ryan, who was sitting next to me. Psst. Who did we fight in the Revolutionary War? The Galactic Empire. Star Wars now. They're talking about Star Wars now? What? This is history, not Star Wars. Not Star Wars fan questions or whatever. Ryan just knows everything there is to know about Star Wars, so I had to be right. I wrote it down. The Galactic Empire. No talking, Mr. Granite said. Who becomes president if the United States if the president should die? Easy. The vice president. Easy. I wrote Chuck Norris. What? Who makes the laws in the United States? Again, I wrote Chuck Norris. Who said, give me liberty or give me death? I leaned over to Alexia. Who said, give me liberty or give me death? Henry. Alexia whispered. Henry who? Patrick! Well, which is it? Henry or Patrick? Bo! She whispered. No talking, please! I wrote Henry and Patrick. What are the duties of Congress? I giggled because duties sounds like duties. We're not supposed to be talking about that in school. All I could think about was a bunch of politicians sitting on toilet bowls. I wasn't sure what to write, so I put down number 2. The duties of Congress, not duties on your butt. Like things they have to do. 13. Who invented the light bulb? I had no idea. Psst. I whispered to Michael, who's sitting behind me. Who invented the light bulb? Bob Light Bulb, he whispered back. Bob Light Bulb? I never heard of anyone named Bob Light Bulb. Michael must be yanking my chain. Well, I think it was Thomas Jefferson, or one of the American presidents. I just don't remember. I know lots of stuff named after the people who invented it, like McDonald's, and that vacuum cleaner named after President Hoover. President Hoover? Who's that? Maybe Michael's right. I wrote Bob Light Bulb. Who helped the Pilgrims when they came to America? When the Pilgrims came to America, they probably had to chop down trees, build their own houses, and work on all kinds of do-it-yourself projects like that. So there could only be one answer. I wrote down Home Depot. The answer is Native Americans. Finally, the dumb test was finished. Mr. Grant came around collecting all our papers. Now that wasn't so bad, was it? It was a piece of cake, Andrea announced. Why is everyone talking about cake? Am I getting a truck full of cake from Andrea's head? If a truck full of cake falls on my head, I would just devour it. So, he wants a lot of trucks full of stuff to fall on her head. But cake is not the best one. I would just devour it. I would say, thank you. Hey, where's Dr. Nicholas? I thought this book was supposed to be about Dr. Nicholas. I want my money back. He wants his money back. After a few days, we forgot all about the dumb test. Life went on. Andrew was annoying, as usual. He had a PB football game and my team won. Ryan had his birthday, and his mom brought in brownies for the whole class. A week later, Alright, all classes, please report to the all-purpose room for an assembly. Not again! Yelled Mr. Grant. Every time he tries to teach us math, we get called to an assembly. We have to walk 1,100,000 miles to the all-purpose room, which is a dumb name because you can't go scuba diving in there. Oh yeah, then it's not all-purposed. You can't do everything. No room is an all-purpose room because you can't go scuba diving, and you can't undo all the stuff, and you can't walk in zero gravity. The new kid was line leader. Alexia was the door holder. When we got to the all-purpose room, sit between Andrea and Emily. Ugh. Andrew's elbow touched my elbow for a second, and I thought I was gonna die. I'm gonna die! Our principal, Mr. Klutz, waiting for us on stage. He had no hair at all. I mean, none! I bet his head slips off the pillow when he's trying to sleep at night. I got the results from the test you took last week. I hope you did well. Emily was Andrea. I got all the answers right. I looked them up in my encyclopedia. I got on. Our school did horribly. Bam! 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 What? Everyone gasped. Elementary school. We got the worst school in the whole country. Then Mr. Klutz shaking his head sadly. I went to a meeting, and the principal of Marrow 4th grade school was laughing at me. Clearly you kids don't know basic history. But I hate to say this, but if we But if we don't bring up our test scores, our school is gonna be closed. I jumped from my seat. Yay! No more school! 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 I figured everyone was gonna jump onto their seats and start chanting "No more school" with me. It's around. No one else was standing. No one else was chanting. Everyone was looking at me. And that's awkward. Oh, I hate it when that happens. I sit back down in my seat. You probably got all the answers wrong, Arlo. And he said to me, I bet that's why your school did so poorly. Your face got the answers wrong. Although the answer's wrong, I whispered back at Andrea. That doesn't even make any sense, Arlo. Your face doesn't make any sense. Everyone was talking to Whisper. Mr. Chubb told Miss Cups held up his hand and made a peace sign, which means shut up. I decided to bring a professor from the local college to help teach you students history. What? We don't want to learn history from some bullied college teacher! Someone yelled. Everyone is upset. Even some of the teachers. Oh, you're gonna like Dr. Nicholas. She's a world-famous historian who's traveled everywhere and written many books about history. She's even on Oraf. Everyone gasped and said, wow, which is Mom upside down. Oh yeah, well, is Mom upside down? What was she doing on opera? What was she doing on opera? When I said opera, I meant opera. What was she doing on opera? I was quiet. She took it up opera. Opera could get hurt. Is opera okay? Who's opera? I asked. Dr. Nick will be coming into your classroom to teach you basic history that everyone should know, said Mr. Club. Then a week from today, you'll get a chance to take that test over again. And I think with the help of Dr. Nicholas, you're going to score much higher, and they'll be able to laugh at those other principals. That'll be icing on the cake. More cake. Why is everyone talking about cake? No. Gus said with his sweep of his arm. I'd like to introduce Dr. Nicholas! Dr. Nicholas came out on stage. She looked really old. She had white hair tied up in a bun in the back. What's up with that? Buns are for putting your burger on, not for putting it on the back of your head. I could have run around the block in the time it took her to get to the middle of the stage. Whoa, that lady is old. Mr. Tucker's. She's even older than Mr. Tucker. Mr. Tucker's our science teacher. I thought he was old. But Dr. Nicholas looks old enough to be Mr. Tucker's mother. Must learn a lot about history, because she's about 1,100,000 years old. Whispered Nick. Yeah, she probably lived through most of it. Mr. Klutz told us to give Mr. Nicholas a round of applause, so we clapped our hands in circles. Does anyone have any questions to ask Dr. Nicholas? Said Mr. Klutz. Yeah, how old are you? That's not a nice person to ask. That's not a nice question to ask a person, AJ, said Mr. Klutz. I don't mind, said Dr. Nicholas. I'm 92 years old and proud of it. How old are you, young man? I'm 8 years old. I'm 8 years old. And I'm turning 9 soon. 8? When I was your age, I was 9. I don't get it. Everyone laughed even though she didn't say anything funny. Yeah, I really don't. Have you met Abraham Lincoln? Asked Claudia. No. But years ago, I drove one of his convertibles. Were you alive when there were dinosaurs? Asked Michael. Oh, yes, Dr. Nicholas. In fact, I used to ride a dinosaur at school. Pretty sure that Dr. Nicholas was yanking our chain. Everyone knows there were no schools in dinosaur times. It'd be hard to ride a dinosaur. They didn't even have saddles made for them. Dr. Nicholas was trying to ride the dinosaurs bareback. But maybe she was telling the truth, because old people don't usually make jokes. That's the first rule of being old. My dad told me that when he was a kid, they didn't have video games or microwave ovens or fruit roll-ups. Ren said, "What was it like when you were a kid?" "Ah, the good old days," said Dr. Nicholas. "When I was your age, we didn't even have TV." "What?" Everyone gasped. "No TV. I would die without TV." The only good thing about having no TV is that they couldn't have TV turn off week. TV turn off week would last forever. TV turn off week would actually last forever because there is no TV! The good old days sound like the bad old days to me. If I looked back then, I would sit around saying, "I wish someone would hurry up and invent TV already because I'm bored." You wouldn't even be saying that because nobody would know what you're talking about. They would want you to invent it. The good old days sound like the bad old days to me. Me too. "What did you say all day?" asked Neil, the new kid. "What did you do for fun?" "We went out to play," replied Dr. Nicholas. "What?" There was a buzz in the all-purpose room. Everyone was talking to each other. "You mean in the outdoors?" asked Andrea. "Yes," everyone gasped again. Everybody gasped again. "Did you get sunburned?" asked Andrea. "Did your clothes get dirty?" asked Emily. "How about the bugs?" asked Andrea. "Wasn't it dangerous?" "Were you afraid of getting hit by a car?" asked Neil, the new kid. No, she was afraid of getting hit by a dinosaur. It was a wonderful time," said Dr. Nicholas. "My friends and I used to play hopscotch, marbles, and hide and go seek. My favorite thing to do was jump rope." "Oh," Ryan said, as she chose an app called Jump Rope Simulator on her iPad. "It's awesome." "Dr. Nicholas, were you on your school jump rope team?" "Oh, we didn't have a team. We just jumped rope for the fun of it out in the streets." "You played in the streets?" "Sometimes I play in the streets." I knew she was thinking too. You have to be crazy to play in the streets. I knew she was thinking her too. Be crazy to play in the street. I bet she made all this up for riding dinosaurs in Abraham Lincoln's convertible. My friends and I would jump rope anywhere. Took Nicholas to In fact, I feel like jumping rope right now. That's when the realest thing in the history of the world happened. Dr. Nicholas pulled the rope out of her pocket, then she swung it over her head and started jumping with it. "Dr. Nicholas is ridiculous. Oh, she's jumping rope." Chapter 5, our first history lesson. After lunch, Dr. Nicholas came into our classroom. "Clear off your desks," said Mr. Grant. "Time for our first history lesson. Listen with Dr. Nicholas." "Yay!" shouted all the girls. Shouted all the boys. "Ugh, I hate history. History's dumb. Why do you have to learn about stuff that already happened? Who cares about the dudes that died 1,100,000 years ago?" Mr. Granite sleeped back in half an hour. He went to the teacher's lounge, which is a secret room near the front office where no kids are allowed. My friend Billy, who lives around the corner, told me that teachers go to the teacher's lounge to relax in the big hot tubs, while servants in bathing suits and robes. Dr. Nicholas picked up a marker and wrote, "History is fun" on the whiteboard. "Today, we're going to learn about the history of the toilet bowl." "What? Toilet bowls have a history?" asked Ryan. Of course, said Dr. Nicholas. Everything has a history. Toilet bowls were disgusting, said Emily, wrinkling up her nose. I thought history was about wars, said Andrea, and the great men and women who changed the world. History's about everything that came before us and made the world what it is today. Have you ever heard of the story of Tom Crapper? Evan laughed because Dr. Nicholas said the word crapper. My mom said that's a bad word. I should never say it anyway. Yeah, it is. It's finally used in a kid's book. Wait a minute, Neil said, jumping out of his seat. Are you going to tell us the guy who invented the toilet bowl was named Crapper? No, said Dick. Simple toilet bowls have been around for many centuries. The first toilet you could flush was invented back in 1596 by a man called John Harrington. So the toilet bowl was invented by a guy named John. That makes sense. Because some people say toilets are the Johns. John's in the John. What did Tom Crapper do then? Everyone laughed because Michael said the word crapper again. It's impossible to say the word crapper without laughing. No, it's not. Crapper. I didn't laugh. That's the first rule of being a kid. There's no rule of being a kid. Tom Crapper was born in 1936 England. His father was a steamboat captain. When Tom was 14, he went to work as a plumber in London. But when he was 25, he owned his own plumbing shop. Back then, in those days, people didn't even talk about toilet. Why would you talk about a toilet? Only very rich people own a toilet. What did everyone else use? Often they'd get a hole in the ground, said Dr. Nicholas. Gross! Everybody shouted. I'm glad I don't have to go to the toilet in the hole in the ground. During Tom Crapper and flew on the flushing toilet bowl, said Dr. Nicholas. He also opened a shop and sold toilet bowls to the public. For the first time, regular people could go to the store and buy a toilet bowl. And the rest is indoor plumbing history. I dare you to stand up right now, wherever you are, and say, "Hooray for indoor plumbing!" Okay. Hooray for indoor plumbing! Wow! We all said, which Mum will sit down. We have toilet bowls in our own homes, said Dr. Nicholas. And we all also Tom Crapper. Hooray for Tom Crapper! Crapper, crapper, crapper! I figured everybody was going to jump up from their seats and start chanting Crapper with me. I looked around. No one else was standing, no one else was chanting. Everybody was looking at me. I hate that one. When that happens, I sat back down in my seat. I still say toilet bowls are disgusting, said Emily. You know, it's even more disgusting than toilet bowls. What? We all asked. No toilet bowls! We're probably still using a hole in the ground, said Neil, the new kid, tucked in his toilet. It's lots more cool stuff about the history of toilets and toilet bowls. The girls were grossed up, but the boys thought it was hilarious. It's about anything to do with toilet bowls. It's hilarious. That's when the door opened. Mr. Granite came in and came back in. I couldn't believe half hour had gone back so fast. I guess our history lesson is over, said Dr. Nicholas. Yay! Shouted all the girls. Shouted all the boys. We want to learn about the history of toilet bowls. Yeah, toilet bowls are cool. Who invented toilet paper? Said Dr. Nicholas. Dr. Nicholas? Asked Neil, the new kid. We can discuss that another time, she said, as she left the room. Mr. Grant told us to open our math books, but I couldn't stop thinking about Tom Cracker and his toilet bowl. That's when I came up with the funniest joke in the history of the world. Do you know what Thomas Crapper used to draw his first toilet bowl? A number 2 pencil. Poo-poo pencil. No wonder I'm in the gifted and talented program. I should get the Nobel Prize for that one. That's a prize to give out to people who don't have bells. Weird. No, it's not. My name is AJ and I love history. History is cool. I didn't know you could learn the history of the toilet bowl and stuff. The next day, after we finished pledging the allegiance, Dr. Nicholas came into our classroom again. It's time for another history classroom. Yay! Shouted all the boys. Boo! Shouted all the girls. Mr. came to the teacher's lounge and said he'd be back in half an hour. What are we gonna learn about today? Asked Dr. Nicholas. The history of the urinal? Can we learn about the history of snot? I've always wondered where it came from. It comes from your nose, dumbhead, said Neil the new kid. Oh snap, said Ryan. Moose teach us about the history of farting? I bet that's really interesting. He also suggested that Dr. Nicholas teaches about the history of flapping, maggots, snakes, and bath. Well, for most of those, you'd find out in a biology lesson. So, you boys are gross, said Andrea. I don't think I like history anymore. Me neither, said Emily. Always agrees with everything said. That's too bad, because today we're gonna learn the history of Barbie! Barbie? I didn't want to learn about the history of Barbie. Barbie is for girls. No, it's not. I love Barbie. Andrea shouted, all excited. Me too, said Emily. Barbie has a history? Oh yes, said Dr. Nicholas. Everything has a history. True. It started in the California garage back in 1940s. I mean, the guys, for that reason, made humming noises so he wouldn't have to hear about the history of Barbie. But it didn't work. I still heard every word. Back in those days, Ruth and Elliot Handler owned a company called Metal that made picture frames, said Dr. Nicholas. Isn't Metal a toy company? Asked Alexia. It wasn't back then, said Dr. Nicholas, but they used the extra scraps of wood to make doll furniture. Soon they discovered that they were making more money from the doll furniture than picture frames, so they switched to making toys. That's interesting, said Andrea. Tell us more, said Emily. I thought I was gonna die. Back then, Dr. Nicholas went on, most dolls were baby dolls, but Ruth and Elliot Handler went on a trip to Switzerland, and one day they saw an adult doll called Lily in the store. They brought one home for their daughter. And do you know what the daughter's nickname was? Dumbhead Ugly Face? I guess. You're so immature, Arlo, said Andrea. I bet the daughter's nickname was Barbie. That's right, Dr. Nicholas. So in 1959, Ruth and Elliot decided to make the first Barbie doll. It was 11.5 inches tall and sold for $3. It became the most popular doll in the world. 2 years later, they came out with Barbie's boyfriend Ken, and he was named after their son. Dr. Nicholas went on and on about the history of Barbie. I thought the half an hour would never end. I kept looking at the clock and waiting for Mr. Granite to come back from the teacher's lounge. Are Ruth and Elliot Handler still alive? Asked Alexia. No, Ruth passed away in 2002 and Elliot died in 2011. But Barbie lives on. Mattel has sold more than 1 billion Barbie dolls, and every 3 seconds another one is sold. Really? So they must have sold a lot of Barbie dolls while I'm making this video. I hate history. Oh, I almost forgot, Dr. Nicholas said. After a few years, Elliot decided that he wanted a toy for boys. So he came up with an idea of a real-looking little metal cars. And in 1968, Hot Wheels was born. The same people who made Barbie also made Hot Wheels? Tell us about the history of Hot Wheels, said Ryan. Yeah, shouted all the boys. It all started back in. Dr. Nicholas didn't get a chance to finish a sentence because Mr. Grant came back from the teacher's lounge. I'm afraid we're out of time. We'll learn more about history tomorrow. Yay! Everyone shouted. I'm really glad we're learning all this history, but we need to prep for the test. Yeah, if we don't do better in the test next week, the school will be closed. Don't worry about the silly test, said Dr. Nicholas. It'll be a piece of cake. More cake. Maybe they were going to give us a test with all the questions written in the icing of a cake. At Ryan's party last year, there was a cake with a photo of Ryan's face on it. I got to eat Ryan's eyeball. It was cool. All this talk about cake was getting me hungry. That was good, because it was time for lunch. The truth about Dr. Nicholas. We had lunch in the vomitorium. It used to be called the cafeteria. And saw some kid threw up in there last year. It was gross. I sat with the guys and Alexia. Then Andrea and Emily came over. We had to squeeze together to make room for them. Michael had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Alexia had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Neil, the new kid, had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Just about everyone had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Everyone except me. I had a piece of cake. I held it up for everyone to see. Now this is a piece of cake, I told them. Naturally, we all started talking about Dr. Nicholas and how weird she was. If she's a real doctor, I said, she should cure sick people. That's what doctors do. Maybe she cured sick people in history. She's the weirdest history teacher in history. They only had history teachers 300 years ago. Yeah, Michael said, but no one else teaches the history of toilet bowls and Barbie dolls. Maybe she's not a real history teacher at all. I said, did you ever think about that? What do you mean, AJ? Asked Alexia. Or maybe Dr. Nicholas kidnapped our real history teacher. Old ladies don't kidnap people. Old ladies don't jump rope either. I told him Dr. Nicholas probably kidnapped our real history teacher and sent her back in time with a time machine. Stop trying to scare Emily, said Andrea. I'm scared, said Emily. Yeah, right now our real history teacher is probably being tortured in a castle during the 30th century. Stuff like that happens all the time, you know. We gotta do something, shouted Emily, and then she went running out of the vomitorium. I slapped my head. Sheesh, get a grip. That girl falls for anything. After Emily left, Andrew was sitting there with her worried face on. What's the matter with you? I asked. Did you lose your encyclopedia? No, I'm worrying about our school, Andrew told me. In 2 days, we'll have to take that test again. Mr. Clark said the school will close if we don't do better. We're not going to do very well if we only learn about the history of toilet bowls and Barbie dolls. I realized Andrea was right for once in her life. Learning about the history of toilet bowls and Barbie dolls was cool, but it wouldn't help us on the test. If we failed again, elementary school would be shut down forever. Then we had to go to Dirk School, which is a school for dorks, and the other side is school for dorks on the other side of town. What are we gonna do? Asked Alexia. Beats me, said Neil, the new kid. Neil looked at me. I looked at Ryan. Ryan looked at Michael. Michael looked at Andrea. Andrea looked at Neil. Everyone was looking at each other. We were in trouble. Hey, the study buddies. We should form a study group. I couldn't believe those words came out of my mouth. But it made sense. We all knew what was going to be on the test. If we learned the answers together, we'd get them right and we could save our school. Let's have the study group at my house after school this afternoon, said Andrea. We can call ourselves the study buddies. One time I had to put on a jacket and tie and go to Andrew's house for a birthday party. I was so bored I started throwing snails into the garbage can and it hit Emily in the head with one. But I agreed to go over to Andrew's house again to save our school. Mom, I said when I got home, can you drive me to Andrew's house? Oh, I said you don't like Andrea. Why do you want to go over to her house? We're having a study group. What? My mom was over and put a hand on my forehead. Mom's always putting the hands on your forehead. Nobody knows why. Are you feeling okay, Adrian? You always said you hate studying. Are you coming down with something? You need to rest in bed. No, I told her. I need to get the Andrew's house right away. It's really important. My mom drove me over to Andrew's house. Hi, Arlo, Andrew said when she opened the door. Come in. You're the first one here. Come on in. Let's go to my room. My mom went to the kitchen to make chit-chat with Andrew's mom. Andrea took me upstairs to her room. It was the weirdest place in the history world. There were books and encyclopedias and Barbies and all kind of pink stuff everywhere. I thought I was gonna die. Luckily, the doorbell rang. Andrea and I ran down the stairs to let him in. Ooh, Ryan said. AJ got to Andrea's house first. They must be in love. One of you two study, but he's gonna get married. If those guys weren't my best friends, I would hate them. Soon the others showed up, and we went to Andrew's basement. And you'll never believe in a million hundred years what was down there. A classroom! There was a big whiteboard on the wall, and desks, encyclopedias, posters, and a computer. There was even a flag, so Andrew could pledge the allegiance at home. Who has a classroom in the basement? What is Andrea's problem? They all took seats. Andrea went to the whiteboard and wrote, History is fun on it. I'd like to call this meeting of the study buddies to order, she said. You can tell me the name of the first president. Wait a minute, I shouted. You're not a teacher! But I know all the answers for the test, Arlo. Do you? Sure I do, I told her. Oh yeah? Andrea said. Who was the first president? Abraham Lincoln, I said. So na boo-boo on you. Everyone laughed, even though I didn't say anything funny. Dumbass. Neil whispered to me. I knew that. Alright. Summer in the summer. I want to go to Antarctica and live with the penguins. We went over all the questions that were on the test. And found that I got a few of them wrong the first time. I learned that we fought England in the Revolutionary War, not the Galactic Empire. Told you. I learned that the president dies, the vice president. I learned if the president dies, the vice president becomes the president, not Chuck Norris. Called it. I'd learned that Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, not Bob light bulb. Also called it. After 1,100,000 hours of studying, you'll never believe who poked her head into the basement door. Nobody. If you poked your head into a door, it hurt. But you'll never believe who poked her head into the doorway. It was Andrea's mom. She looked just like Andrea, but with wrinkles. She was with my mom, and they had a big plate full of chocolate chip cookies. You kids are working very hard, Andrea's mom told us. You could be home playing video games and having fun, but here you are learning about history. I'm so proud of you, said my mom. So she was about to cry, so I was allowed to eat 5 cookies. And the other parents showed up to take everyone home. We had learned all kinds of history stuff that we didn't know before. I was ready to kick butt on the big test. Do not get mad when you say but. Nobody knows why. When we got to school the next morning, there was a sign on the classroom door. Go to the science room. That was weird. We went to the science room, which was all the way on the other end of school. And you'll never guess in 1,100,000 guesses what was in the middle of the science room. Time machine? Wrong. It was about what? A giant robot. It was in the middle of the room. It was the weirdest thing in the history of the world. Miss Yonkers, our computer teacher, was in the science room too, along with Mr. Doka and Dr. Nicholas. Where'd you get that bot? I asked. Rent a boat, said Dr. Nicholas. You can rent anything, but this isn't just any old boat. It's a time boat. What's a time boat? A time boat is a boat that travels through time. Miss Yonkers and I invented a time machine with the help of Dr. Nicholas, of course. Are we going to travel through time? Yes, I think it's the best way for you children to learn history. Why didn't you just build a time machine about a phone book for a car? Because the whole class can't fit inside the phone book for a car, said Miss Yonkers. Good point. Hop in, said Dr. Nicholas. We all climbed in the time boat. Where are we going? Asked Neil, the new kid. You're traveling back in time to the year 1776, said Dr. Nicholas. She was fiddling with a bunch of knobs on the control panel of the time boat. Are you coming with us? Oh no, said Dr. Nicholas. There's no room for grown-ups in the time boat. Do we need to paddle or anything? No, just hold on tight. Aye, aye, Captain, I said. It was exciting. The closest I ever came to traveling in time was when my family went to a restaurant called Medieval Times. These guys on horses charging at each other with spears while we ate chicken. That place was weird. I'm scared, said Emily, who was scared of everything. Do not be afraid, said Dr. Nicholas. You have nothing to fear but fear itself. What does that mean? I asked. Read to me, said Ryan. Your marks, yelled the grown-ups. Get set, go! Suddenly the light turned out. It was so dark I couldn't see my own hand in front of my face. Then there was a buzzing sound, and the time boat began to rumble and shake. There was electricity in the air. Well, not really. If there was electricity in the air, we would all die. Help! Yelled all the girls. Everyone was freaking out. We're going back in time. I held onto the time boat. There were flashing yellow lights and strange noises, and went on for a long ride. Then suddenly, everything stopped. A spotlight fell on a lady who was sitting in a chair next to the time boat. She was dressed in old-time clothes and I was sewing stars into a flag. She looked like a librarian, Mrs. Rupee. Wow, I said. My mother loves your song. Stop! My mom loves your song. Stop! In the name of love. That's Diana Ross, dumbhead, said Ryan. You look a lot like Miss Rupee. Never heard of her, said the lady who called herself Betsy Ross. I bet it is actually Miss Rupee. What are you doing? Asked Emily. What does it look like? Betsy Ross said. I'm making an American flag. Why didn't you just go to a store and buy a flag? I asked her. They don't sell American flags in stores here in 1776. Betsy Ross told us. I'm making the first one. You see, we colonists are sick and tired of British rule, so we're starting a revolution. Betsy Ross told us about the Revolutionary War. While she was talking, the light went out. The time boat started shaking and rumbling. There were bright lights flashing. Everyone was freaking out. And then the light went back on. We were back in the science room. With Dr. Nicholas and Miss Yonkers. That was cool, I said. We got to see Diana Ross live and in person. It was almost like a ride at an amusement park. Do you think we really traveled through time? I don't know, said Michael. This lady seemed pretty real. Can we do it again? Sure, said Dr. Nicholas, and you went over to the control panel. This time you're going to go back to the year 1920. Dr. Nicholas fiddled with knobs. The light turned out, then the time boat started shaking. And the next thing we knew, there was a guy next to us who looked a lot like Mr. Joker, and he was holding a bowl of peanuts. Who are you? We asked. My name is George Washington Carver, he replied. I'm an inventor. You look a lot like Mr. Docker, told him, with a wig. Never heard of him, the guy said. I was born a slave, but I grew up to become one of the most famous scientists in the world. I took peanuts and made them into peanut butter, paper, ink, oils, and over 300 products. Wow, we said, which is mom upside down. George Washington cover told us all about peanuts, and even let us eat some. The guy was nutty for peanuts. Then the lights started flashing again. The time boat started shaking, and we were back in the science room. After that, we got to go back in time to meet Susan B. Anthony, Thomas Edison, and Grandma Moses. It was the greatest day of our life. You should have been there. That was cool, we all said when the lights went back on. I'm glad you enjoyed the time boat. To get out, let the other classes take their turns. Let's climb out of the time boat. When the weirdest thing in the history of the world happened, someone screamed. Well, that's not the weird part, because people scream all the time. True. Well, that's the weird part was what happened next. Eek! It was Andrea. What's the matter? We all lost. Emily's not here. She was sitting right next to me in the time boat. Where's Emily? Where's Emily? Where's Emily? Because you were wondering, everyone was shouting, where's Emily? Emily was gone. Emily! I'm sure she's around here somewhere. We all looked under the desk in the science room for Emily, but we couldn't find her anywhere. Maybe she got scared by all the lights and noise. She probably ran away. She does that all the time. With all that shaking, she might have fallen out the time boat. They should really put seatbelts on time boats. If Emily fell out of the time boat, said Lexia, she could be in another time. I think we may have left her back in 1776 with Betsy Ross. That was the last time I saw her. She'll be stuck in 1776 forever. Andrea started crying. The grown-ups tried to calm down, but it was no use. There, said Dr. Nicholas as she patted Andrea on the back. People always say there and pat you on the back when they want you to calm down. They don't say there. It has to be there. What's up with that? Why should I feel better just because somebody said the word there twice and patting me on the back? Emily's my best friend. Joel. Now she's stuck in 1776 for the rest of her life and I'll never see her again. I don't even like Emily. But I was getting a little choked up myself. She might get shot by British soldiers. Or she might help George Washington cross the Delaware. That's when I got a genius idea. Hey, why didn't we just get back in the time boat, go to 1776 and look for Emily? Yeah, everyone shouted. That's a great idea, AJ, said Dr. Nicholas. The one time in the gifted and talented program. We were climbing back into the time boat when you'll never believe who walked into the science room. I'm not going to tell you. Okay, I'll tell you. It was Emily! Emily! We all screamed. Everyone ran out and they started hugging her. What's the big deal? Emily said. Why is everyone shouting and yelling? Where were you? Said Aunt. We are so worried. We thought we left you in 1776 and you'd be stuck there for the rest of your life. I wasn't in 1776. Emily explained. I was in the bathroom. Why didn't you just wait until we got out of the time boat? Andrea asked her. Emily whispered. I had a number 2. Why'd you go to the bathroom? I asked. We have plenty of pencils right here. Emily's weird. The underside of a horse's hoof is called the frog. That has nothing to do with the story, but I thought you'd like to know. Oh, very interesting. The next day, we had to take the history test again. Everyone nervous. If we scored high, our schools would stay open. But if we scored low, our school would be shut down, and we'd have to go to George School the other side of town. We were on pins and needles. Not really, we were sitting on chairs. Why do anyone want to sit on pins and needles? It would hurt. Before the test, we had to go to the all-purpose room. Mr. Klutz, Mr. Joker, Miss Yonkers, and some of the other teachers were up on stage. But not Dr. Nicholas. Where's Dr. Nicholas? Whispered Michael. Where's Dr. Nicholas? Whispered Andrea. Where's Dr. Nicholas? Whispered Emily. In case you were wondering, everyone was whispering, where's Dr. Nicholas? Mr. Klutz made the shut up peace sign with his fingers, and we all stopped whispering to each other, smiling like huge ears. He looked really sad. I just want to let you know Won't you let your students know that I just fired Dr. Nicholas? What? Everyone gasped. We like Dr. Nicholas. This was the worst thing to happen since TV turned off week. Why did you fire Dr. Nicholas? You shouted. I found out she was waiting classroom trying to teach about silly things like the history of Barbie dolls, the history of toilet bowls. As a result, you're not prepared for the big test, and you may as well fail it. Elementary school may close its doors forever. Everyone was moaning and sobbing and wiping their eyes with tissues. I just want you to know it has been a pleasure being your principal, Mr. Clasps, and I just want to say goodbye. It was really sad. We walked back to our classroom without saying a word when Mr. Granite tossed out the test papers and asked us if the number 2 pencils. No one even giggled or cracked a joke about number 2. When I said go, turn over your test papers. Ready, set, go! I turned over my test paper and looked at the first few questions. Who invented Barbie? What did Tom Crapper do? Probably know what happened after that. We did great on the test! Yay! We scored so high that Mr. Claps threw us a big party. And you know what I had to eat at the party? Okay, I'm not gonna tell you. Okay, I'll tell you. No, it wasn't cake. You thought I was gonna say a piece of cake, didn't you? But there was no cake at all. Why is everyone talking about cake? I don't know. We had cookies and jello and pie at the party. So much I thought I was gonna throw up. It was the greatest day of my life. Maybe Dr. Nicholas will get hired again to teach us more history. Maybe a meteor will destroy the Earth and we won't have to take tests anymore. Maybe they'll come up with a different number for pencils. Maybe the Pilgrims will go to Home Depot. Maybe Chuck Norris will run for president. Maybe we'll go scuba diving in the all-purpose room. Maybe Dr. Nicholas will get up Oprah. Maybe the dinosaurs will return and we can ride them to school. Maybe we'll get to try some paper made out of peanuts. Maybe Emily will get lost in time for real. Maybe we'll learn how to say the word crapper without giggling. Maybe people talking about cake all the time. Just a side note. Crapper means poo-poo, so don't say crapper a lot. Soon they discovered that they were making more money from the doll furniture than picture frames, so they switched to making toys. That's interesting, said Andrea. Tell us more, said Emily. I thought I was gonna die. Back then, Dr. Nicholas went on. Most dolls were baby dolls, but Ruth and Elliot Handler went on a trip to Switzerland, and one day they saw an adult doll called Lily in a store. They brought one home for their daughter. And do you know what the daughter's nickname was? Dumbhead Ugly Face, I guess. You're so immature, Arlo, said Andrea. I bet the daughter's nickname was Barbie. That's right, said Dr. Nicholas. So in 1959, Ruth and Elliot decided to make the first Barbie doll. It was 11.5 inches tall and sold for $3. It became the most popular doll in the world. 2 years later, they came out with Barbie's boyfriend, Ken, and he was named after their son. Dr. Nicholas went on and on about the history of Barbie. I thought the half an hour would never end. I kept looking at the clock and waiting for Mr. Granite to come back from the teacher's lounge. Are Ruth and Elliot Handler still alive? Asked Alexia. No. Ruth passed away in 2002 and Elliot died in 2011. But Barbie lives on. Mattel has sold more than 1 billion Barbie dolls, and every 3 seconds another one is sold. Really? So they must have sold a lot of Barbie dolls while I'm making this video. I hate history. Oh, I almost forgot, Dr. Nicholas said. After a few years, Elliot decided that he wanted a toy for boys. So he came up with an idea of a real-looking little metal cars. And in 1968, Hot Wheels was born. The same people who made Barbie also made Hot Wheels? Tell us about the history of Hot Wheels, said Ryan. Yeah, shouted all the boys. Well, it all started back in Dr. Nicholas didn't get a chance to finish a sentence because Mr. Grant came back from the teacher's lounge. I'm afraid we're out of time. We'll learn more about history tomorrow. Yay! Everyone shouted. I'm really glad we're learning all this history, but we need to prep for the test. Yeah, if we don't do better in the test next week, the school will be closed. Don't worry about the silly test, said Dr. Nicholas. It'll be a piece of cake. More cake. Maybe they were going to give us a test with all the questions written in the icing of a cake. At Ryan's party last year, there was a cake with a photo of Ryan's face on it. I got to eat Ryan's eyeball. It was cool. After all this talk about cake was getting me hungry. That was good, because it was time for lunch. The truth about Dr. Nicholas. We had lunch in the vomitorium. It used to be called the cafeteria. And saw some kid threw up in there last year. It was gross. I sat with the guys and Alexia. Then Andrea and Emily came over. We had to squeeze together to make room for them. Michael had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Alexia had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Neil, the new kid, had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Just about everyone had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Everyone except me. I had a piece of cake. I held it up for everyone to see. Now this is a piece of cake, I told them. Naturally, we all started talking about Dr. Nicholas and how weird she was. If she's a real doctor, I said, she should cure sick people. That's what doctors do. Maybe she cured sick people in history. She's the weirdest history teacher in history. They only had history teachers like 300 years ago. Yeah, Michael said, but no one else teaches the history of toilet bowls and Barbie dolls. Maybe she's not a real history teacher at all. I said, did you ever think about that? What do you mean, AJ? Asked Alexia. Well, maybe Dr. Nicholas kidnapped our real history teacher. Old ladies don't kidnap people. Old ladies don't jump rope either. I told him Dr. Nicholas probably kidnapped our real history teacher and sent her back in time with a time machine. Stop trying to scare Emily, said Andrea. I'm scared, said Emily. Yeah, right now our real history teacher is probably being tortured in a castle during the 30th century. Stuff like that happens all the time, you know. We gotta do something, shouted Emily, and then she went running out of the vomitorium. I slapped my head. Sheesh, get a grip. That girl will fall for anything. After Emily left, Andrew was sitting there with her worried face on. What's the matter with you? I asked. Did you lose your encyclopedia? No, I'm worrying about our school, Andrew told me. In 2 days, we'll have to take that test again. Mr. Clark said the school will close if we don't do better. We're not going to do very well if we only learn about the history of toilet bowls and Barbie dolls. I realized Andrea was right for once in her life. Learning about the history of toilet bowls and Barbie dolls was cool, but it wouldn't help us on the test. We failed again. If we failed again, elementary school would be shut down forever. Then we had to go to Dirk School, which is a school for dorks, and the other side, which is school for dorks on the other side of town. What are we gonna do? Asked Alexia. Beats me, said Neil, the new kid. Neil looked at me. I looked at Ryan. Ryan looked at Michael. Michael looked at Andrea. Andrea looked at Neil. Everyone was looking at each other. We were in trouble. Hey, the study buddies. We should form a study group. I couldn't believe those words came out of my mouth. But it made sense. We all knew what was going to be on the test. If we learned the answers together, we'd get them right and we could save our school. Let's have the study group at my house after school this afternoon, said Andrea. We can't call ourselves the study buddies. One time I had to put on a jacket and tie and go to Andrea's house for a birthday party. I was so bored I started throwing snails into the garbage can and it hit Emily in the head with one. But I agreed to go over to Andrea's house again to save our school. Mom, I said when I got home, can you drive me to Andrea's house? No, I said you don't like Andrea. Why do you want to go over to her house? We're having a study group. What? My mom was over and put a hand on my forehead. Mom's always putting their hands on your forehead. Nobody knows why. Are you feeling okay, AJ? You always said you hate studying. Are you coming down with something? You need to rest in bed. No, I told her. I need to get the Andrews house right away. It's really important. My mom drove me over to Andrea's house. Hi, Arlo, Andrea said when she opened the door. Come in. You're the first one here. Come on in. Let's go to my room. My mom went to the kitchen to make chit-chat with Andrea's mom. Andrea took me upstairs to her room. It was the weirdest place in this world. There were books and encyclopedias and Barbies and all kinds of pink stuff everywhere. I thought I was gonna die. Luckily, the doorbell rang. Andrea and I ran down the stairs to let him in. Ooh, Ryan said. AJ got to Andrea's house first. They must be in love. One of you two study buddies gonna get married. If those guys weren't my best friends, I would hate them. Soon the others showed up, and we went to Andrew's basement. And you'll never believe in a million hundred years what was down there. A classroom! There was a big whiteboard on the wall, and desks, encyclopedias, posters, and a computer. There was even a flag, so Andrew could pledge the allegiance at home. Who has a classroom in the basement? What is Andrea's problem? They all took seats. Andrea went to the whiteboard and wrote, History is fun on it. I'd like to call this meeting of the study buddies to order, she said. Who can tell me the name of the first president? Wait a minute, I shouted. You're not a teacher! But I know. All the answers for the test, Arlo. Do you? Sure I do, I told her. Oh yeah? Andrea said. Who was the first president? Abraham Lincoln, I said. So na boo-boo on you. Everyone laughed, even though I didn't say anything funny. It was George Washington, dumbhead, Neil whispered to me. I knew that. Alright. Bummer in the summer. I want to go to Antarctica and live with the penguins. We went over all the questions that were on the test and found out I got a few of them wrong the first time. I learned that we fought England in the Revolutionary War, not the Galactic Empire. Told you. I learned that the president dies, the vice president. I learned if the president dies, the vice president becomes the president, not Chuck Norris. Called it. I'd learned that Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, not Bob light bulb. Also called it. After 1,100,000 of studying, you'll never believe who poked her head into the basement door. Nobody. If you poked your head into a door, it hurt. But you'll never believe who poked her head into the doorway. It was Andrea's mom. She looked just like Andrea, but with wrinkles. She was with my mom, and they had a big plate full of chocolate chip cookies. You kids are working very hard, Andrea's mom told us. You could be home playing video games and having fun, but here you are learning about history. I'm so proud of you, said my mom. So she was about to cry, so I was allowed to eat 5 cookies. And the other parents showed up to take everyone home. We had learned all kinds of history stuff that we didn't know before. I was ready to kick butt on the big test. Grown-ups get mad when you say but. No. Grown-ups get mad when you say but. Nobody knows why. When we got to school the next morning, there was a sign on the classroom door. Go to the science room. That was weird. We went to the science room, which was all the way on the other end of school. And you'll never guess in a million hundred guesses what was in the middle of the science room. Time machine? Wrong. It was about what? A giant robot. It was in the middle of the room. It was the weirdest thing in the history of the world. Miss Yonkers, our computer teacher, was in the science room too, along with Mr. Doka and Dr. Nicholas. Where'd you get a boat? I asked. From Rent-A-Boat, said Dr. Nicholas. You can rent anything, but this isn't just any old boat. It's a time boat. What's a time boat? A time boat is a boat that travels through time. Miss Yonkers and I invented a time machine with the help of Dr. Nicholas, of course. Are we going to travel through time? Yes, I think it's the best way for you children to learn history. Why didn't you just build a time machine out of a phone booth for a car? Because the whole class can't fit inside a phone booth for a car, said Miss Yonkers. Good point. Hop in, said Dr. Nicholas. We all climbed in the time boat. Where are we going? Asked Neil, the new kid. You're traveling back in time to the year 1776, said Dr. Nicholas. She was fiddling with a bunch of knobs on the control panel of the time boat. Are you coming with us? Oh no, said Dr. Nicholas. There's no room for grown-ups in the time boat. Do we need to paddle or anything? No, just hold on tight. Aye, aye, Captain, I said. It was exciting. The closest I ever came to traveling in time was when my family went to a restaurant called Medieval Times. These guys on horses charging at each other with spears while we ate chicken. That place was weird. I'm scared, said Emily, who was scared of everything. Do not be afraid, said Dr. Nicholas. You have nothing to fear but fear itself. What does that mean? I asked. Reach me, said Ryan. Your marks, yelled the grown-ups. Get set, go! Suddenly the lights turned out. It was so dark I couldn't see my own hand in front of my face. Then there was a buzzing sound, and the time boat began to rumble and shake. There was electricity in the air. Well, not really. If there was electricity in the air, we would all die. Help! Yelled all the girls. Everyone was freaking out. We're going back in time. I held onto the time boat. There were flashing yellow lights and strange noises, and went on for a long ride. Then suddenly, everything stopped. A spotlight fell on a lady who was sitting in a chair next to the time boat. She was dressed in old-time clothes and was sewing stars into a flag. She looked a lot like our librarian, Mrs. Rupee. Who are you? I'm Betsy Ross. Wow, I said. My mother loves your song. Stop! My mom loves your song. Stop! In the name of love. That's Diana Ross, dumbhead, said Ryan. You look a lot like Miss Rupee. Never heard of her, said the lady who called herself Betsy Ross. I bet it is actually Miss Rupee. What are you doing? Asked Emily. What does it look like? Betsy Ross said. I'm making an American flag. Why didn't you just go to a store and buy a flag? I asked her. They don't sell American flags in stores here in 1776. Betsy Ross told us. I'm making the first one. You see, we colonists are sick and tired of British rule, so we're starting a revolution. Betsy Ross told us about the Revolutionary War. While she was talking, the lights went out. The time boat started shaking and rumbling. There were bright lights flashing. Everyone was freaking out. And then the lights went back on. We were back in the science room. With Dr. Nicholas and Miss Yonkers. That was cool, I said. We got to see Diana Ross live and in person. It was almost like a ride at an amusement park. Do you think we really traveled through time? I don't know, said Michael. This lady seemed pretty real. Can we do it again? Sure, said Dr. Nicholas, and you went over to the control panel. This time you're going to go back to the year 1920. Dr. Nicholas fiddled with knobs. The light turned out, then the time boat started shaking. And the next thing we knew, there was a guy next to us who looked a lot like Mr. Joker. And he was holding a bowl of peanuts. Who are you? We asked. My name is George Washington Carver, he replied. I'm an inventor. You look a lot like Mr. Docker, told him, with a wig. Never heard of him, the guy said. I was born a slave, but I grew up to become one of the most famous scientists in the world. I took peanuts and made them into peanut butter, paper, ink, oils, and over 300 products. Wow, we said, which is mom upside down. George Washington Carver told us all about peanuts, and even let us eat some. The guy was nutty for peanuts. Then the lights started flashing again. The time boat started shaking, and we were back in the science room. After that, we got to go back in time to meet Susan B. Anthony, Thomas Edison, and Grandma Moses. It was the greatest day of our life. You should have been there. That was cool, we all said when the lights went back on. I'm glad you enjoyed the time boat. To get out, let the other classes take their turns. Let's climb out of the time boat. When the weirdest thing in the history of the world happened, someone screamed. Well, that's not the weird part, because people scream all the time. True. Well, that's... The weird part was what happened next. Eek! It was Andrea. What's the matter? We all lost. Emily's not here. She was sitting right next to me in the time boat. Where's Emily? Where's Emily? Because you were wondering, everyone was shouting, where's Emily? Emily was gone. Emily! I'm sure she's around here somewhere. We all looked under the desk in the science room for Emily, but we couldn't find her anywhere. Maybe she got scared by all the lights and noise. She probably ran away. She does that all the time. With all that shaking, she might have fallen out the time boat. They should really put seatbelts on time boats. If Emily fell out of the time boat, if Emily fell out of the time boat, said Lexia, she could be in another time. I think we may have left her back in 1776 with Betty Roth. That was the last time I saw her. She'll be stuck in 1776 forever. Angie started crying. The grown-ups tried to calm down, but it was no use. There, said Dr. Nicholas as she patted Angie on the back. People always say there, and pat you on the back when they want you to calm down. They don't say there. It has to be there. What's up with that? Why should... Yes? Why should I feel better just because somebody said the word that twice and patting me on the back? Emily's my best friend. Joel. Now she's stuck in 1776 for the rest of her life and I'll never see her again. I don't even like Emily, but I was getting a little choked up myself. She might get shot by British soldiers, or she might help George Washington cross the Delaware. That's when I got a genius idea. Hey, why didn't we just get back in the time boat, go to 1776 and look for Emily? Yeah, everyone shouted. That's a great idea, AJ, said Dr. Nicholas. The one time in the gifted and talented program. We were climbing back into the time boat when you'll never believe who walked into the science room. I'm not going to tell you. Okay, I'll tell you. It was Emily! Emily! We all screamed. Everyone ran out and they started hugging her. What's the big deal? Emily said. Why is everyone shouting and yelling? Where were you? Said Aunt. We are so worried. We thought we left you in 1776 and you'd be stuck there for the rest of your life. I wasn't in 1776. Emily explained. I was in the bathroom. Why didn't you just wait until we got out of the time boat? Andrea asked her. It was an emergency, Emily whispered. I had a number 2. Why'd you go to the bathroom? I asked. There are plenty of pencils right here. Emily's weird. The underside of a horse's hoof is called the frog. That has nothing to do with the story, but I thought you'd like to know. Oh, very interesting. The next day, we had to take the history test again. Everyone nervous. If we scored high, our school would stay open. But if we scored low, our school would be shut down, and we'd have to go to George School at the other side of town. We were on pins and needles. Not really, we were sitting on chairs. Why would anyone want to sit on pins and needles? It would hurt. Before the test, we had to go to the all-purpose room. Mr. Klutz, Mr. Joker, Miss Yonkers, and some of the other teachers were up on stage. But not Dr. Nicholas. Where's Dr. Nicholas? Whispered Michael. Where's Dr. Nicholas? Whispered Andrea. Where's Dr. Nicholas? Whispered Emily. In case you were wondering, everyone was whispering, where's Dr. Nicholas? Mr. Klutz made a shut up peace sign with his fingers, and we all stopped whispering to each other, smiling like huge ears. It was really sad. I just want to let you students know that I just fired Dr. Nicholas. What? Everyone gasped. We like Dr. Nicholas. This was the worst thing to happen since TV turned off week. Why did you fire Dr. Nicholas? You all shouted. I found out she was waiting in classroom. classroom trying to teach about silly things like the history of Barbie dolls, the history of toilet bowls. As a result, you're not prepared for the big test, and you may as well fail it. Elementary school may close its doors forever. Everyone was moaning and sobbing and wiping their eyes with tissues. I just want you to know it has been a pleasure being your principal, Mr. Clasps, and I just want to say goodbye. It was really sad. We walked back to our classroom without saying a word when Mr. Granite tossed out the test papers and asked us if the number 2 pencils. No one even giggled or cracked a joke about number 2. When I said go, turn over your test papers. Ready, set, go! I turned over my test paper and looked at the first few questions. Who invented Barbie? What did Tom Crapper do? You probably know what happened after that. We did great on the test! Yay! We scored so high that Mr. Claps threw us a big party. And you know what I had to eat at the party? Okay, I'm not gonna tell you. Okay, I'll tell you. No, it wasn't cake. You thought I was gonna say a piece of cake, didn't you? But there was no cake at all. Why is everyone talking about cake? I don't know. We had cookies and jello and pie at the party. So much I thought I was gonna throw up. It was the greatest day of my life. Maybe Dr. Nicholas will get hired again to teach us more history. Maybe a meteor will destroy the Earth and we won't have to take tests anymore. Maybe they'll come up with a different number for pencils. Maybe the Pilgrims will go to Home Depot. Maybe Chuck Norris will run for president. Maybe we'll go scuba diving in the all-purpose room. Maybe Dr. Nicholas will get up Oprah. Maybe the dinosaurs will return and we can ride them to school. Maybe we'll get to try some paper made out of peanuts. Maybe Emily will get lost in time for real. Maybe we'll learn how to say the word crapper without giggling. Maybe people stop talking about cake all the time. Just a side note. Crapper means poo-poo, so don't say crapper a lot. But it won't be easy. Hello. Let's read this book. It's called Inventus. Let's read. This book belongs to all of us. Inventors and their inventions. Johann Gutenberg invented the printing press in 1455. Oh, that was a long time ago. Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone in 1876. Joseph Swan and Thomas Edison invented the light bulb in 1878. Carl Benz invented the motor car in 1885. Never heard of any of these people. Josephine Cochrane invented the dishwasher in 1880. Whitcomb Judson invented the zip in 1893. Herbert Booth invented the vacuum cleaner in 1902. No wonder history was so dirty. Garrett Morgan invented the traffic signal in 1923. John Logie Baird invented the television in 1926, also known as the TV. Frank McNamara invented the credit card in 1950. Before vacuum cleaners were invented, people had to clean their houses with brushes and dustpan. The first vacuum cleaners were big and heavy. Today, vacuum cleaners are light. Before printing presses were invented, people had to copy books using a pen and paper. Oh, that would be tricky. Imagine that. You write a chapter book, and then somebody else has to write it again and again and again. Talk about a slow business. The first printing presses are slow. Today, printing presses are fast. Before traffic signals were invented, people could not work out when to stop and when to go. Uh-oh. Traffic! So much traffic! I would not want to be the man in the yellow car. And so much yelling too. Ah, ah, ah! The first traffic signals had stop and go written on them. Today's traffic signals use lights. I thought they looked queer. Before telephones were invented, people could not talk to each other if they were not in the same place. They had to write letters. The first telephones were connected by wires. Today, mobile phones can be used anywhere. Well, many people still write letters. Before motor cars were invented, people had to walk or ride horses to get from one place to another. The first motor cars are slow. What? Motor cars? How can they be slow? Were very slow. Today, cars are very fast. Before zips were invented, had to fasten their clothes with a lot of buttons and hoops. Oh, it used to take a long time to get dressed. Today, clothes are easy to put on and take off easily. Before TVs were invented, people could not see what was happening in other countries. The first TVs had black and white pictures. Today, TVs have color pictures. Oh, black and white TV. Boring. Before dishwashers were invented, people had to wash and dry plates, glasses, and cutlery by hand. Before light bulbs were invented, people used candles, oil lamps, or gas lamps to see at night. Do they stink? The first light bulbs did not last for long. Today, light bulbs last for a very long time. Before credit cards were invented, people had to pay for everything in paper money or coins. But sometimes my mom does that. The first credit cards could not be used in many places. Today, credit cards can be used to pay for things anywhere and everywhere. Oh, it's time for a game. Match the invention to the inventor. This is gonna be fun. Johann Gutenberg invented the printing press. Now let's see Alexander Graham Bell. What did he invent? The traffic signal? No, he invented the telephone. Morgan to the traffic signal. And I know John Swan and Thomas Edison both invented the same thing. So they invented the light bulb. Now Carl Benz. Credit card? Oh, he invented the motor car. In my head I was thinking motor car. He invented the motor car. Now who invented the dishwasher? I think Josephine Cochrane. Yes, I got it right. Now what did Whitcomb Judson invent? The zip? Or the zip? I got it right. Al Herbert Booth. Did he invent the vacuum? No. Dishwasher. No. The vacuum. And now, we've already done Garrett Morgan and how he invented the traffic signal. Now John Logie Baird. Which one did he invent? Because we're down with television and credit card. I think he invented the TV. Frank McNamara invented the credit card. Yay! So what score did I get? I got 10 out of 11. What score did you get? I hope you got them all right, unlike me. I only got 10 out of 11. But you know what? It's okay to make mistakes. As long as you know where the mistake is and how to fix it, then making mistakes is perfectly acceptable. Don't forget to like and subscribe. For zero, you don't even need to learn it. It's just 1 times 0 is 0. Everything times 0 is 0. For 1, nothing happens to the number you're multiplying by 1. That's why we'll be skipping the 2 times 1 equals 2. We'll go straight on to 2 times 2. Anyway, let's start. 2 times 2 equals 4. 2 times 3 equals 6. 2 times 4 equals 8. 2 times 5 equals 10. 2 times 6 equals 12. 2 times 7 equals 14. 2 times 8 equals 16. 2 times 9 equals 18. 2 times 10 equals 20. Quiz time! 2 times 2 equals 4. 2 times 3 equals 6. 2 times 4 equals 8. 2 times 5 equals 10. 2 times 6 equals 12. 2 times 7 equals 14. 2 times 8 equals 16. 2 times 9 equals 18. 2 times 10 equals 20. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. Today we are going to do French with the ball and poodle. Ball, and did you know that ball means beautiful in French? That's right. Anyway, let's start. We're going to do only numbers from 1 to 10 in French or en français. Les nombres. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10. Well done, Bo. You get a sticker. Don't worry, you get a sticker as well.
Yes!
I'm going to show you images. Whenever you see a number, say it in French. Are you ready? Go! Duh! No! Well done. You get another sticker. And this time, a bigger one. 2 stickers. One on that and another on the other side. Well done, Poodle. Well done, Poodle. My doctor's hat. She got a sticker on her doctor's hat. Today, we're going to do something colorful. That's right. We're doing the French colors. Don't forget to like and subscribe before we start this video. Bleu, blue. For bleu, just switch the letters, switch the E and the U around. Rouge, red. For rouge, it starts with an R and ends with an E. Those are the first 2 letters of red. Rose, pink. For rose, a rose is pink. Noir, black. Blanc, white. Blanc is like blank because it's spelled blank with a C. So, and white is also, white is like, instead of saying the wall is white, the wall is blank. Jaune, yellow, vert, both start in GR. Horse, orange. For horse, it's just orange with a French accent. For violet, it sounds like violet, but it's purple, like me. Yeah! Quiz time. Going to show you images and you have to say the color in French. Let's go! Bleu, vert, rouge, jaune, gris, blanc. À bientôt!